What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. It's the Trust the Bank podcast. It's the post-game reaction slash NFL trade deadline reaction show. Joshua, the Ravens didn't make any moves, but we did take down the Arizona Cardinals. Some big moves happened today. Pretty close to Baltimore. Nothing in Baltimore, but what are your thoughts on kind of today and this Sunday's game on how everything's going with Baltimore?
So first, I would say, I know Christmas is supposed to be a joyous holiday, for the ones that do celebrate it, and for the ones, that don't celebrate it, hey, treat it like a regular day. But if you are a football fan, it's gonna get intense that evening on Christmas night because they got a 24-year-old dog on the outside of Joey Bosa. I'm saying the right Bosa, right?
Yep.
So it's gonna be intense, and then you got a good game manager in Brock Purdy. I don't know how long Deebo Samuel was out, but once you get him, plus your CMC, Kyle Juszczyk, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight for sure. And then you got a young middle linebacker that plays like a goddamn veteran, in Fred Warner. I mean, granted, he is now a veteran technically, but he plays like a real tenure type of veteran.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very intense. I was surprised of the Montez Sweat move for the Bears, but honestly, between the Bears and the Commanders, they are two teams that are, I guess we could say, figuring it out. What's the next move? How do they build? So I believe they had 2 first-round picks back to back, Chicago. So just to give up a second round for Montez, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean they're sitting there. They've got Carolina's first, and they've got their first, which right now are both looking like top 5 picks. So they're battling for Caleb and maybe Marvin as well. So, today, even though I've been on the record, I've said this. I don't think the Ravens should trade for anybody. I didn't want the Ravens to trade for anybody. It was getting close to that deadline, and I was like, "Are the Ravens going to make a move?" I'm like refresh. I'm like, "Are we going to make a move? Are we going to do something?" Pat Surtain, Danielle Hunter. All of a sudden, for some reason, everybody started talking about Josh Jacobs. I don't know where that came from. I saw
that was my dark horse, honestly,
about it, but
that was my dark horse for me, Josh Jacobs. I mean, everybody said Saquon Barkley, Zeke, Derrick Henry, but honestly, Josh Jacobs, I don't remember his injury history in the NFL like that. I don't know if it's as bad as a J.K. Dobbins or whatever the case may be, but Josh Jacobs is a feature back, and I feel like he can do the same thing a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry can do for this Ravens offense. So he was my dark horse for a possible trade.
Yeah, and my thoughts on Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs I think is better than Gus Edwards. However, Josh Jacobs is my least favorite running back in the NFL. I don't like Josh Jacobs. I'm very anti-Josh Jacobs. He's atrocious in short yardage situations, which is hilarious because that's what he's supposed to be good at. But I remember for his first 3 years of his career, he was the worst 1 yard to go running back in the NFL. Even though he's seen as a slow power back. But I was like, okay, he's kind of an upgrade, but 1 year on his contract. Are you going to pay him? And then people were like, oh, yeah, trade the second-round pick for him. No, do not trade a second-round pick when you could draft. Who could very easily be available? Joshua, I know you like this guy. Blake Corum, second round, could totally be available. I don't know if I like Blake Corum. I like him as a prospect, but I don't know if I want to draft anymore.
It's between Blake, Will Shipley, who I could feel,
Will Shipley would be so nice.
If we get a Will Shipley in Baltimore, we would have to change our offensive scheme. Just our offensive scheme would have to be more similar to what San Fran does out that way. Or we stay down south. We go get our running back from out of Florida State University.
Ooh. That guy's nice too. I can't remember that guy's nice, but I can't remember that guy's name. But he is a beast. But the Ravens don't make a move at running back, which is fine. And then you look at edge rusher, and it's like, oh man, the Ravens need a primary edge rusher. We lead the league in sacks. Let's not act like getting pressure has been a problem for the Ravens. Clowney's been a monster generating pressure. Matabike has been a monster generating pressure. They're great with the blitzes. The Ravens are. They're not having to run cover zero. They're just blitzing. Maybe one extra guy, and they're able to get guys free and cause pressure. So they're doing really good there. Oh man, Pat Surtain could have been available. Maybe, but again, Brandon Stevens has been locked down. Marlon's been locked down. Why do we need another cornerback that we would have to pay a massive extension to? As much as I like these players, like I love Pat Surtain. Yeah. I love Chase Young. I'm not a huge, I like Montez Sweat. I'm not like a super fan of Montez Sweat like I am Chase Young, but like these are good players. And I'm not trying to disrespect them, but the Ravens, it didn't make sense for them to move it because it hurts the future more than it benefits the present. Like, yes, it does help, but I think really what the Ravens need is they need time. The offense is working through, some kinks, building out a new offense, getting back to being fully healthy. And the defense, same thing. You're getting Tyus Bowser back. Clowney's coming into form. You don't really need anybody. We're going to get Marcus Williams back. Yeah. Geno Stone stepping up. Like, it's not like we're looking at this roster like, man, this team is struggling. It's like, no, honestly, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, man, we should be 8-0. Like, that's really the concern I have is not, oh man, we got to really add some juice. No, not necessarily. And people may say we should have traded the 3rd round pick for Chase Young. But if you're looking at it from the Ravens perspective, as much as I like Chase Young, that guy hasn't been on the field nearly enough. And the Ravens would not be trading for him to sign him to an extension because he's going to want a bag. And the Ravens aren't going to be able to pay the bag. And we're going to lose out on a comp pick. So it's just not in the cards for me. And you watch the game against the Arizona Cardinals, and the defense looked really good. We ended up giving up more points than you would have thought if you watched the game, but that's because somebody dropped an onside kick and allowed them to get a free 3 points, and then they scored a touchdown in garbage time. Like, the Ravens defense has been unreal this year, and a lot of the touchdowns they allowed a touchdown in the Bengals game with like 2.5 minutes left to make it a 1-possession game. They allowed the touchdown to the Cardinals, but it's like it doesn't matter at that point. They're playing prevent. They're allowing the team to move across the field, just as long as it's not quick, because you don't want to have those Miami Dolphins like games where it's just boom, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. They come back. Yeah. They're slowing the game down. They're forcing teams to be methodical, and it allows points, but it's strategic and it works. It's like not scoring a touchdown on a drive to end the game because you wanted to run out the clock. It's like, you know what? It kind of hurts the statistics, but in reality, it gets us the W. I'm fine with that. Defense looked really good. The offense struggled a little bit, but overall, it still looked pretty solid. They were able to generate pass interference. Rashad Bateman made plays. Zay Flowers made plays. Lamar looked good. Like, this team's rolling right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm totally fine not making a move at the deadline.
Yeah, and the running back, I had to look him up. He's Trey Benson from Florida State.
That's right.
And he's putting up good numbers this year. He's putting up good numbers. I think he originally came from Oregon, but made the move. But I know guys are definitely wish we made a move. I know the talk was thrown around, even Devontae Adams possibly coming to Baltimore. I'm not gonna lie. If the Ravens would have pulled the trigger, what I would have said for sure Super Bowl, yeah, I definitely would say that because he is a big upgrade. And I feel like when you get someone that's frustrated in the organization and they finally get somewhere where they're going to be able to flourish and shine, for example, I feel like Jonathan Allen. If we would have made the call to the Commanders and say, hey, what are you willing to give up for Jonathan Allen? What are you asking for? I feel like plugging Jonathan Allen in the interior, maybe possibly moving Justin Metabike to the outside. Hey, I don't know. It would have been a scary sight. It would have been a scary sight, in my opinion. Even if you move, even if you bring in Devontae Adams. Shout out to Rashad Bateman, for finally playing a whole complete game, but also playing a game where he just felt comfortable, this past Sunday. But I feel like a Devontae Adams would take so much pressure off that wide receiver core. I know everybody say, well, we got Mark Andrews. Yeah, but you can always double up on Mark Andrews. Sometimes when you don't got the, sometimes when our wide receivers don't get the separation that we don't, that we feel like they should be getting, and then people like, well, Lamar's holding the ball too long. Well, he's trying to get some time. He's trying to give time before he just throw the ball, because then when you do see him, make those BS passes, excuse me, they get picked off, or
Yeah.
he just trying to make something happen, and sometimes it doesn't always work for us. So as much I would like a beautiful, a sexy pick, a sexy trade that would have maybe bolstered us, what we have is working for us. Like you said, even if we would have went for a Patrick Surtain the second, it would have taken away from the progression of a Brandon Stevens or even a Rocky Sin, So I love what we're doing. I love how Mike McDonald has taken his players and made the best out of it. Even with yeah, that's a great point, John. That's what pretty much. Even with Todd Monken, we said it during the offseason. The good thing about Todd Monken is that he will look over his roster. He will see, analyze, do his scouting report of what his talent is, and he will build a scheme around his talent and make it flourish. You say 8-1. You say we should have been 8-0. I give us 7-1. The reason I give us 7-1 for the simple fact we shouldn't have shit the bed against the Indianapolis Colts. And I will say, when it comes to the Steelers, we don't know how to play. It's like the whole damn playbook is just thrown out. It's like, hey, y'all just figure it out, So I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Would I would like a little sexy pick, sexy trade? Sure, by all means. Bring on someone that could possibly help us, make that push to the playoff round, to that AFC Championship game, or maybe even to the Super Bowl. But like John brought up, man, this shows that this organization trusts the guys that we do have on the field. We are getting are you looking at the numbers, the poll?
I was looking at the top 25. Georgia's not number one. They haven't lost in like 3 years. So Ohio State is at number one. That's shocking. I'm an Ohio State guy. Ohio State's one of my favorite teams.
They play good ball, but Georgia not number one. That's crazy work.
That's shocking. Florida State's at 4, Michigan at 3, Georgia at 2, Ohio State 1. Wow, I was not expecting that.
This is going to be a hell of a playoff this year.
I can't wait for the Michigan Ohio State game. The game.
That's going to be a deciding factor for sure. But you know what? And then again, back to the trades, man. I feel like this upcoming year we're gonna have to draft. We're gonna have to draft better than any other year before. There is some. Cause I don't know. We don't know what the future may hold with Odell Beckham Jr. Because for me personally, if depending on how we look on the offensive line and what we're trying to do with the offensive line, I don't know if I'm going to do I don't know if I will make a first round, second round pick on the offensive line. But in the first round, Keon Coleman is available. I'm pulling the trigger. On that, McConnell. A 6'4", specimen. I'm pretty sure he can run a 4.4, maybe 4.5 flat, and he had the athleticism. He can go up and get the ball, and that's a big target that Lamar Jackson has not had on the field as of yet. I think that would work. I think that would work for us. So it's a lot of different things to look at. But this upcoming offseason, this year's draft is going to play a big part to the Ravens' success in the future.
Yeah, this draft's going to be huge. I can't wait to get into scouting. Some of these other guys, obviously, I've been watching college football all year long, but when you start scouting them and looking into the players, because obviously we watch the big teams, we watch our favorite teams, but there's always hidden gems. Puka Nacua. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, it was in prime time, so hopefully you did. But Simi Fehoko has more touchdowns this year for the Los Angeles Chargers than first-round pick Quentin Johnston.
I'm not surprised.
He scored his first career touchdown this week.
He's been working. He's been working at his craft.
So, huge baller. Shout out to Simi. But, there's always hidden gems. It's always fun to look out for those. But, one of the big points that I want to bring up is don't judge a draft class too early. The 2020 draft class has been floating around, which was clowned on for the last 3 years as EDC just can't draft. He totally botched the ball with this draft because it was Patrick Queen, it was J.K. Dobbins, and then it was
we had
Justin Madubuike.
I think
We had Broderick Washington, Duvernay, Prochet, Geno Stone was the back end pick, and it was like, man, nobody's contributing. And then you look at the team now, it's like Justin Madubuike is an absolute monster. Patrick Queen is playing borderline Pro Bowl level football right now. Geno Stone leads the NFL in interceptions. Let's pump the brakes on hating on drafts when the players haven't fully developed. Like, some of them didn't have the opportunity. They're getting the opportunity. They're balling. So, when we look back at these other draft classes, like a lot of people hate on the 2021 draft, right? We got Rashad Bateman, we got Odafe Owe. It's like a lot of people are like to clown on that. And it's like, hey, let's wait for, see what happens with Odafe. Because if he gets to year 5 and he's a stud because he was a major project that we drafted, then it's going to look really, really good. If he's not a stud, well, then yeah, we're screwed. Then it's a bad draft. But Rashad Bateman, the same thing. Like Rashad Bateman's, I feel like looked decent on the field when he, is getting consistent reps. He made a great couple of plays this week. He had an end around or jet sweep, and then he had the big adjustment to the catch. The Lamar underthrew. He underthrew it because Ronnie basically got thrown into Lamar, and he gets bumped forward and throws. Underthrows it. Bateman makes a play, and that's one of those plays where okay, that's confidence booster, right?
Yeah,
that's a big reception for him. So, stop hating on the drafts, guys. After 1-2 seasons, you cannot judge that. If you looked at so many teams, draft classes and so many great players, would you really say that, Torrey Smith was a superstar, one of the best draft picks the Ravens ever made at wide receiver after a year? No, you're probably going to wait. And then all of a sudden you find out, And same thing with players that play well, right? Hollywood, I still think Hollywood was a really good draft pick. I have no problem with the Hollywood pick.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. I think Hollywood was a beast. He's a good wide receiver too in the NFL, and the Ravens drafted him, and people are upset that he wasn't a top 5 receiver. It's like, dude, he worked. He's a good player. He's a startable player. We've drafted a lot of first-round players that aren't startable. Rashad Perriman.
The Ravens development is just the damn organization is like a locomotive, or almost, if you look at it.
Yeah.
You just got to really give it some time. And I know it can be frustrating as a fan because when you see, certain teams draft certain players and you get immediate impact, I know people probably say, well, we drafted Odafe Owe. He played on the same defense with Michael Parsons. If you actually watch Penn State football, Michael Parsons was the front runner of their defense. In a music group, Odafe Owe was the backup singer. He wasn't the lead singer of the group, So he created enough noise and chaos for Michael Parsons to really eat and thrive. But Michael Parsons, he's shown what he can do, So the Ravens have a way of getting guys and eventually getting some of the best work out of them. Now, sometimes it doesn't always work. Just like that year when we did draft, Tim Williams and Tyus Bowser out in the same year. You think Tim Williams with the year that he had at Alabama was going to be crazy versus, getting a University of Houston Tyus Bowser hybrid outside linebacker who's still in the league, who's still making noise, who still plays good football. Tyus Bowser. The only thing is right now, Tyus Bowser is coming back from an injury. But when he's healthy, we all know what he does. He earned that contract extension because of his play. So, hey.
Yeah, we've drafted so many players over the years and so many players at the same position, right? I feel like the Ravens, a lot of times they double up with those guys. And I don't know, did we double up with any positions this year? I don't think we did.
No, not like how we did.
Not this year.
No,
But
not
last
how we
year,
did it. Yeah.
last year we did Kolar Likely, Duvernay Prochet, Hollywood Miles Boykin.
Well, we did it the same year when we drafted Lamar, but Hayden and Mark.
Hayden and Mark. Lamar. Oh, wait, no. I think Trace McSorley was the next year. Or maybe Trace McSorley was drafted that year. I don't remember. No, Trace McSorley was 2019. We drafted, let's see here. That's right. Solid Voorhees. We just haven't seen Voorhees. We love doubling up. And it just gives us options of two guys competing against each other. Not to say that both of them can't play, but it just helps. But that usually means they're going to be compared to each other. And so players may look like busts because they got beaten out by another player we drafted. For example, Charlie Kolar is the best example of we can only have one tight end 2.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to get another tight end 1. And you can't use 3 tight ends every play. So, yes, Charlie Kolar doesn't look like an amazing pick. But Isaiah Likely made it worth it. When you have that many picks in the draft, it's okay to miss as long as you hit on one. You're just throwing darts, right? You're hoping one sticks. They threw 2 darts at the tight end position, and one of them stuck. In the draft, you're throwing 7, 8, 9 darts, and you're hoping 3 players hit. If 3 players hit, it is a successful draft class. And I think a lot of people forget that 50% of first-round picks aren't stars. Maybe 10 players drafted in the first round in each draft class make a Pro Bowl. It's not like everyone acts like drafting is like the NBA, where in the NBA, if you have a top 5 pick and that guy isn't a future all-star, you're disappointed. You're disappointed in that pick. You want your top 5 pick to be a future all-star. But in the NFL, your first round pick, drafting 28th overall like the Ravens do, if you get a guy that can play, who cares? Bateman can play. You can have Bateman as a wide receiver 3 on your roster, and you're fine. It's disappointing, but it's not a bust. Quentin Johnston for the Chargers this year has been a bust. You can't play Quentin Johnston. So I think it's just kind of funny the way that people overreact and talk about the draft classes and everything like that. When it's dude, as a collective unit, the Ravens are balling on all facets. They're the second most explosive team in the NFL in terms of an explosive plays are 10-yard runs, 20-yard passes. They're the most explosive rushing team in the NFL with Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson and Justice Hill. And they're top 5 in passing explosive plays. The Ravens aren't getting, 70-yard touchdowns, but they're getting 25-yard gains. And that's crucial. In the NFL, in the modern NFL, they're able to pick up big chunks. But, I'm, not worried about the Ravens trade deadline and not making a deal because you know what we did last year? We went out and we made the deal. And that deal is still paying dividends.
Oh,
there was not a player like a Roquan Smith that was available. Because remember, Roquan Smith was a top linebacker in the NFL. Top 2 linebacker, most people would say. And at that time, maybe most people would say top 3, but I think most people still had top 2. Roquan, Fred Warner. And he was available, and he was up for an extension. The Ravens we want this position. We're willing to pay him as the highest paid at this position, so we're going to make this offer. As much as I like Danielle Hunter, as much as I like Chase Young, those guys are going to want top-tier money. The Ravens were not going to pay that. Would you rather trade a second or third for Chase Young and give him a max contract but lose out on Matabike, Patrick Queen, and Geno Stone? Or would you rather keep the pick and extend the guys we have?
And Bobber, that's the best point. That's the best thing about it. We didn't have a quote unquote need, If anything, it would have been a 1. It just would have been like a bolster, or just a higher upgrade. But when we look at this, trade class of this year, some names was thrown out there in the rumor mill. But with the Ravens, I would have saw. If anything, I would have saw them go offense this year. I feel like defense, they are getting pieces back where it's actually working. It's working well for them. If we would have made a trade, I feel like we would have definitely traded someone on offense. But I mean, offense was some pickings. You got Josh, like you had Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley is coming off an injury. You got Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's damn near the bread and butter of that offense in Tennessee. And now you have a thrower of the football in Will Levis. Josh Jacobs, even though Josh Jacobs is good, his numbers hasn't been the best. And I blame that on the system, and I blame that on him a little bit as well. The only person I would have been really happy about, I would have been more happy about, was Devontae Adams. Like if I would have saw 4:00, Baltimore Ravens, Devontae Adams, gets Devontae, whoa, hold on now.
Yeah.
That would have been, very interesting, because we now would have had our Pro Bowl wide receiver. We really would have had someone for, Lamar Jackson, to continue building and becoming a better quarterback. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all working itself out. We're 5-2. We got Seattle this upcoming week. Todd Monken, Mike Madonna, they both are figuring it out on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. We are getting healthier, we're getting stronger, as the season progresses as well. So I mean, I like the style of football that we're playing. Do I feel like we can always get better? Sure. But it's going to take time.
And I think it's funny that like the names that so many people are upset, like that I see people like really mad about on Twitter, like, why didn't we trade for this guy? They weren't even traded. Like, it's not like someone else traded for Danielle Hunter or Josh Jacobs and was like, man, Raven. Like, the only one is like Chase Young. Like, yes, somebody did trade a third. So I like get why people that really wanted Chase Young are upset. We didn't get Chase Young. We could have traded a third, right? But like, Joshua, you brought up Devontae Adams. Would have been sick if we got him. But if Devontae was traded, it's one thing. But like Devontae wasn't traded. Josh Jacobs wasn't traded. No running back was traded. No wide receiver other than Donovan Peoples-Jones was traded. There's one offensive lineman traded. There were no secondary pieces. Oh, no, there's one secondary piece traded.
The guy from Green Bay, he went to the Bills.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson.
Nobody crazy. No, like it wasn't like,
exactly.
Oh yeah, Jair got traded. Oh, Pat Surtain got traded. Like there wasn't any like crazy high name players other than Chase Young that got traded. But the Eagles traded for somebody. Who did the Eagles? Oh, they traded for Byard, Kevin Byard.
Kevin Byard. They gave away the defensive tackle, and they just picked up Compton as well.
Yeah, but yeah, James Prochet. I saw that signed to the Browns practice squad.
Shout out to him.
Go for James Prochet. Always rooting for him. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see if I don't know. I just think that people want it. Trade deadline's a great time to get mad because everybody's mad. Everybody from every team is upset. Why didn't we trade for this guy? Why didn't we trade for this guy? Guys, you know what? This Ravens team is really good. If we were sitting there and we're 4-4, right? Yeah, maybe we need to make a move. We're 6-2.
No, for real.
We're winning the AFC North. We're tied for the best record in the AFC. We've got a tough matchup against the Seahawks this week, but
if Brandon Stevens was not playing the type of football that he's been playing this year,
if we had prime Anthony Averett instead of Brandon Stevens,
if there was some real holes to fill right now, we would be very upset. Right now, we do not have a reason to be upset, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's just
at least I don't care where they leave Vegas. Devontae Adams was frustrated. And then on top of that, he thought he was going to be playing with his old college QB, and they made the move to get rid of him. Via trade or however. And Jimmy G, oh, it was a bad day. It's a bad day on Monday Night Football. Okay, it's been a bad career for you.
Yeah.
It was rumored that he was possibly going to be traded, and I think earlier during the day, our name, the Ravens, was brought into it.
It's always funny, like those accounts that like just make up things, and so many people follow them, where all of a sudden it like becomes a rumor, and you're just like, it's just some random tweet that says like, oh yeah. They'll hear like Adam Schefter just mention something. Like someone asked Adam Schefter, do you think the Ravens would trade for a guy like this? And he's like, maybe. And then all of a sudden it's like, Ravens' name has been, around this. And all of a sudden people's like, Ravens a leading candidate to trade for this. And it's like going to these accounts that have like 200,000 followers. And you're like, what? No, that's not the case. I saw one from some fantasy football page, big fantasy football page, like 100,000 followers. Mm-hmm. And they quoted Ravens for, I think it was Ravens for Dummies. Because he said something about Josh Jacobs, and he was like, I think the Ravens want Josh Jacobs. I think the Raiders want to trade Josh Jacobs. The Raiders want a second-round pick. The Ravens don't want to give a second-round pick. And all of a sudden, this fantasy page with huge following makes a tweet and says, breaking, the Ravens declined a trade of a second-round pick for Josh Jacobs per this person. And I was like, that's not what the tweet said.
Yeah.
And two, like, what? like, that's not, what are you getting this information from? And they just totally take some random small thing, but Twitter pays you now. And if you have a banging tweet, it's bang, like you're making money.
I mean, honestly, man, I saw somebody ask Josina Anderson. And honestly, I feel like, I don't know how closely she works with the Ravens. I don't know who's her insider source, but I mean, honestly, when somebody asks her a question and it's about the Ravens, she don't give too much, and she gives just enough to allude of what could possibly be. So, I want to, shout out to the ladies in the sports world doing their reporting and things of that nature, because I mean, she definitely was on the trail when it came to the Lamar signing and things of that nature. But man, listen, when you talk about those different pages and they bring up, and they have a following, it's crazy, because once you have a following, you damn near can say anything and run with it. And now that you're paying for the verification, now it's like, do we trust this guy?
Yeah, I used to be such a big Twitter fan, and now it's just so disappointing. Where it's just like, I just can't be on Twitter as much anymore. I used to sit on Twitter all day. Elon ruined Twitter. And it's all about free speech or whatever. That's why he did it. But he did so many things where it was like, dude, why are you making it so you have to pay for verification status? That was the only way to tell.
Yeah, it's a business standpoint. He was helping himself.
The only way to tell if news was real was you at least check the verification. And now it's just like, well, you can get the extra special verification. I'm like, dude, I just want to know if I followed the right professional athlete. That's what I'm looking for in the verification. Yeah. Is this the real reporter? Let's see. Ravens drafting an offensive lineman. Ravens will definitely be drafting a lineman.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. For sure.
Saw a tweet saying the Ravens are finalizing a deal for Javonte. Dude, they people be capping. People be capping. That's the rule of the trade deadline.
Yeah, that would have been a nice pick. I mean, a nice trade, honestly.
Also, I think something that's really funny is the NFL trade deadline is crazy, but it's always one trade. The NBA trade deadline is it's going down to the wire, and there's like 25 trades in the final hour, and you're sitting there and you're like, boom, 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 and like everyone's getting dealt. Like it's so different. NFL versus NBA trade deadline.
McCon, I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. When I saw the NBA trade of today and versus the NFL trade deadline, I was like, shit, no trade can match up to this one right now, any sport right now. James Harden to the
NBA
Clippers.
just they're always just one step ahead. The NBA is just like, oh yeah, it's NFL trade deadline day. All right, we're gonna trade James Harden to the Clippers. Like,
we're gonna just show out. We're gonna just show out everybody. We're just gonna show out. We're gonna show. Play in tournaments on the way, guys. Don't even worry.
Oh man,
take a back seat. Did you see the courts?
Oh my god, I'm so excited! Like when they first announced the idea for the in-season tournament, I thought it was really stupid. However, when they explained how exactly it would work, because I thought it was going to be you take a break mid-season and you play a tournament like soccer does. Because they were like, kind of like how soccer, but soccer's like, we're going to pause for the Champions League. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like I felt like that made no sense for the NBA. But instead, it's like, oh, it's just the standard regular season games, and they just count towards the regular season. And then if you win, all of them, you make it to the championship, which is one extra game. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they're coming out with the special courts, and every team's probably rocking their city uniforms, or at least I would assume they're rocking the home team's probably rocking the city uniforms because they all basically matched what their city uniform kind of design was. Like OKC's wearing the blue court. Like it's 100% made me think of 2K. And the custom courts, because I was never playing on classic hardwood. I always loved a silver court or a grayed out court. I thought that was always so much fun.
See,
I think a few teams have the gray.
I would not love to play against you and your team, for the simple fact you're going to mess up my eyes for the whole damn game. Yeah.
I'll say this: I cannot play on the black court. Dude, when someone pulls on the black court, I'm dead.
I played against somebody recently on the black court, and bro, they ran a 5-out offense. My team was struggling. I don't even think we got the win. And then the jerseys were black on top of that.
Yeah, they run the black jerseys, and in my team, they're using the black ball. And you're like, what is going on here? Like, you can't see anything. You're just like, oh. They have, dark gray lines. You're like,
yeah. But I definitely would say the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion, may got the best court.
Ooh, let me look at the courts again. I want to see.
Yeah, check them out, man. When I saw the reactions of the guys, man, it was like, whoa, this shit, this is sick. I'm like, yeah, it is, my guys, it is.
Oh my god, where's the picture? I saw a picture earlier, and it had all of them. Well, I guess I'm scrolling through the NBA tweets. Okay, Hawks. Ooh, the Hawks are nice. The blue. Boston's okay. Brooklyn's meh. Bulls. Let's see here. I like the Nuggets. I hate the Nuggets city uniforms, but when you see the city uniforms with the crate, because all the city uniforms are just all black. That's 80% of them, and it was like, this makes no sense. But if they're wearing them on that court, it's like, okay, now it's kind of fire. The Warriors is awful. Oh my god, the Warriors court is horrible. Indy is a cool court. Clippers have a cool court.
I wonder what Miami's court look like. They gotta go by city.
The Heat is all red, and then it just has the Heat logo in white over the trophy.
Go Vice City, guys. Dang.
Oh, I just saw the Suns. Yeah, the Suns win. The Suns win. That's so fire.
Sorry, guys. We got a little carried away. Some things. Baseball's coming to an end. Basketball's back up and running. Hockey.
I know, Joshua. Have you seen Utah?
Yo,
hold on, man. Hold on. I'll share screen. Hold on. I think I can share screen. We're sharing screen. Share screen. This.
Okay, top 3.
That's Utah's nice.
I like that.
Hopefully nothing weird shows up on Twitter. Okay. Let's see here. You never know with the new Twitter. Toronto's. I like Toronto's.
That's not bad. It's giving OVO. It's giving OVO for
I
sure.
think San Antonio looks horrible. This
Yeah.
doesn't make me think San Antonio at all. I actually saw this and I was like, they made a Seattle Supersonics court. Like that's what I thought. Like,
Yeah.
look at the colors. That's Supersonics right there.
So okay, because you're an OKC fan, whenever KD retires, do you feel like OKC should retire his jersey?
I would say so. Because KD, I think, made Oklahoma City fall in love with basketball. Like obviously Oklahoma City was a basketball player. It's like they were gonna love basketball no matter what. But to get to get the team moved there and just instantly have success and quickly get to an NBA Finals, and Kevin Durant was there and he was won the scoring title, MVP, and like I feel like that warrants it. As much as he did the city dirty leaving, I still believe he's the best player the team's ever had. He was there for years. Like it's not like he played 5 years. Like KD was there for like 8 years. In Oklahoma City for like 7 years. So I think they moved in 2009, but like I don't know. I'm all in. I don't like this Pelicans court. It's
that like something that like the Joker.
Yeah. This New York one, I don't like the double font, but like
that orange is bright as hell for me, man.
Yeah. Like this is a cool, just like simple court for the Timberwolves. The Heat all red. That'll be cool to watch. Lakers is solid. I like the Clippers.
Yo, the Indy joint is not. It's not.
Indy
bad.
Looks fire. Like their jerseys suck. The jerseys made no sense, and like it was this graffiti, and you're like, "What is this bubble lettering?" But like with the court, you're like, "Okay, it makes sense." Houston's all right. This Warriors is awful. I don't know what this is.
It's bland. It's bland with the dark hardwood. It's like
how are your colors like blue and gold? And you're like, let's do beige and brown.
Damn, hold on now. That's Detroit?
Detroit's is fire.
That's not bad at all. I like that.
Denver's fire.
Okay.
Mavericks. It's like all gray. I don't know why I went all gray.
It's cool.
Yeah. Cleveland's all right. Bulls is fire.
It's not bad. Not bad at all.
Hornets,
Yeah, I feel the same way about that one.
Nets, that's kind of what you'd expect, just gray.
Yeah.
Boston, I like Boston's.
It's simple. I feel like if the Hornets would have did like the purple, they probably would have got off with it.
Yeah, like I don't know why the Hornets changed their logo to the most horrendous color scheme I've ever seen for this. I don't know what this is.
Like y'all got some of the best throwbacks. Like come on, bro. Like okay. Best throwback, best basketball throwbacks. We got Mavs. I got Hornets, Supersonics. Ooh. And maybe Grizz, yep. Top
Vancouver Grizzlies.
And maybe the Hawks.
Supersonics. Oh, Hawks were fire. I love the 90s Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even go back if you want to. Now, if you want to go crazy, you can throw the bad boy Pistons in there too.
Yeah, Pistons used to have fire uniforms. I mean, the pinstripe Magic uniform.
Yeah.
Pinstripe. I love pinstripe uniforms. Like the Raptors had the pinstripes, the Pacers had the pinstripes, Orlando had the pinstripes.
Those went crazy.
Like
the Raptors definitely went crazy when they had Tracy and Vince. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Like
even the Cavaliers had some decent color unis like over the times.
Yeah, I feel like I like the young LeBron Cavs. They had the alternate, the black,
the orange joints
sleeved jerseys were fire.
Yeah.
The old orange jerseys were fire. I remember when they brought those back with LeBron.
Yeah.
Those were so clean. Like, let's see here. I mean, Utah used to have fire jerseys.
Damn. Utah is definitely top 10. Utah is definitely top 10.
The bullets were fire.
Bro, don't remind me. Don't remind me, man. If you go bullets, you definitely got to talk about like how the Wizards. Oh my gosh, when they had the stripe going down, I think it was like orange, blue, and gray. Them joints was cool too.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Mavericks uniforms suck. The Mavericks need a rebrand. That team needs a rebrand.
But when they had the green joints, them joints was tough. Old school Timberwolves was classic too. Old school Timberwolves was a classic.
Like the old KG.
Yeah.
I even had it with Kevin Love.
The
Bucks, and like Ray Allen, they had the like full like thing.
Didn't they have a purple at one point?
Yeah, they rocked the purple with the deer on it.
Yeah,
that was fire. I don't know. There's so many sick jerseys, and yet like the NBA. Oh, the Suns used to have just fire jerseys. The NBA is just like, oh, we're gonna make everything simple. It's like, okay, let's get some fun jerseys.
Me and McConnell, we're gonna have to do a day stream, guys. We're gonna have to go to a game together, whether it's NBA, football, man. We're going to turn up, man. We're going to turn up for y'all, man.
We do. Sure. I gotta get out to Baltimore.
Yo, I don't know how you feeling, but we need to take a look at the San Antonio that Texas game, that Texas versus OKC game. I'm with it, and we can get some decent tickets. And I'm with it, man.
I'd be down.
Like I
go to all the OKC games when they play in Portland. I've only been to one other OKC game.
Yeah, I really wonder how much like that in tournament ticket is. I would not mind going like one of the courts. It's like that's out the way it is.
True. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Well, let's see here. NBA scores. I got to see what teams, because obviously some teams are more expensive, right? Like
for sure.
Okay, so the Knicks are on the road. The Knicks are always expensive.
Yeah,
Nets on the road. Nets are always expensive. Warriors on the road. Warriors always expensive. Let's see here. When are these? I don't even know when these in-season tournament games are. I only knew the first set. I guess there's only okay. Why does no team play on November 7th?
Oh, wow. That's soon?
That makes no sense. Tuesday, November 7th? Am I missing something? I'm looking it up.
The play-in tournament will take place, in April.
Yeah, I think that's the play-in tournament, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Now I'm just confused.
It takes 2 to trade the NFL kids. I like that tape.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. Found versus Golden State. I can't tell. Versus. Okay, November 17th. Oh, wait, here we go. November 17th, Knicks Wizards. Let's see those tickets.
All right.
Just curiosity, because the Knicks, I think, are the most expensive NBA team to go to. Nick starts with a K. I spelled it with an N, and I was like, this looks wrong. Okay. November 17th. one ticket. No, I don't need a guide. Oh, $60 for like top. Or I mean, you can get in for like 30.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're playing the Wizards, but
Well, I
still
said
an
it was
in-season tournament game.
the Wizards are barely playing good ball. Oh man, we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk logistics because Thursday night football is the day before. Yeah, we're going to talk this out.
Of what?
16th, November 16th. Ravens Bengals.
They're playing the game before with Knicks Wizards. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, good thing I'm not going to be watching Knicks Wizards. Teams I don't want to watch. Both of those.
Oh man.
Oh man. Floyd said Scotty Barnes looking good. I don't know. I haven't watched any Raptors game. I watched OKC. I've watched some Lakers. I've watched Nuggets. I've watched Suns. I've watched some Rockets.
Yeah, I'm in Cardinals mostly West Coast games as well.
Yeah, a bit of Clippers games. Man. All right, guys. I think that's probably gonna wrap up this stream. Just a fun little midweek stream. There wasn't any news. It was just kind of, the Ravens took care of business in Arizona, and on to the next week. But Joshua, you got anything finally you want to say to everybody in the stream?
As Tuesday is Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody that does, celebrate, and y'all just be safe out here if y'all out here trick or treating and things of that nature. Stay strong. Stay strong. We got another week ahead of us. We got another NFC foe. I don't know if they wrote me off. I ain't right back is going to be playing for him this Sunday, but whoever we got to face, we're going to play him like any other team, man. Y'all stay strong, stay safe, enjoy the rest of y'all week, and we will talk to y'all Sunday.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one.